The numbers around fitness in India tell a shocking story. While the country has over 96,000 gyms, only 0.2% of adults have memberships, and half of those rarely show up. Today, we are exploring why India's fitness revolution seems stuck in first gear.
Those statistics are pretty eye-opening. And what's even more interesting is how this tiny percentage reflects deeper patterns in Indian society.
You know what really fascinates me about this? It's not just about access or availability. There's this huge disconnect between having facilities and actually using them. When we look at why, the data shows 1 in 3 people feel gyms are overcrowded, and 44% actually prefer working out at home.
That preference for home workouts seems significant. What are people doing instead of going to the gym?
Well, walking is actually the big winner here. The average Indian walks about 6,499 steps daily with a really impressive 12% year-over-year growth. And there's this fascinating gender divide. 38% of women prefer walking compared to 34% of men, while women also show stronger interest in running, yoga, and dance.
That's interesting. And men tend to gravitate more towards cycling and strength training, right? It makes you wonder how much of this is cultural versus personal preference.
Exactly, and these patterns have serious health implications. Over 46% of India's population leads an unhealthy lifestyle, and the financial consequences are staggering. Let me share some numbers that really put this into perspective. 46% of Indian households spend more than 30% of their wealth just on cancer treatment.
Oh wow, and it doesn't stop there. Another 31.6% are dealing with massive stroke-related expenses. That's an enormous financial burden on families.
You know what's particularly concerning? These are largely preventable conditions. The lack of regular physical activity is literally costing families their life savings. And yet, the adoption of fitness technology that could help prevent these issues is surprisingly low, 82% lower than the global average for wearables.
Though I understand the pandemic did shake things up quite a bit in terms of how people approach fitness.
Oh yeah, COVID-19 was a real game changer. We saw this massive 1,300% increase in live fitness content consumption worldwide. While India might be playing catch-up, the pandemic definitely accelerated some changes in how people think about fitness and health.
Looking at the market projections, it seems like there's huge potential for growth. What are the numbers showing?
Well, India's preventive healthcare market is expected to reach $197 billion by 2025, and the fitness and wellness sector alone will be worth $98 billion. But here's what's really interesting. Despite these promising numbers, there's still this huge cultural barrier to overcome.
So what do you think it will take to bridge that gap between potential and reality?
I think it's about making fitness both accessible and culturally relevant. The walking statistics show that Indians are willing to be active when it fits into their lifestyle. Maybe the future isn't in traditional gyms, but in community-based activities and technology-enabled solutions that meet people where they are.
That makes sense, especially considering India's strong community-oriented culture.
Exactly. And when you look at the urban-rural divide, it becomes even more complex. Urban areas have better access to fitness facilities, but interestingly, rural areas often show higher levels of natural physical activity through daily work and lifestyle. The challenge is making structured fitness accessible and relevant across these different contexts.
And with India having one of the world's largest youth populations, do you see technology playing a bigger role in the future?
Absolutely. And here's why. Younger generations are typically more tech-savvy and health-conscious than their predecessors. Combined with initiatives like the Fit India movement, technology could be the key to creating more accessible and engaging fitness solutions. But it needs to be adapted to local needs and preferences.
Looking at everything we've discussed, What would you say is the most crucial factor for success?
I think it comes down to three key elements. First, making fitness more accessible through technology and community-based programs. Second, addressing the preventive healthcare aspect to avoid those devastating financial burdens on families. And third, creating solutions that respect and incorporate Indian cultural values while promoting modern fitness approaches.
That's a really comprehensive way to look at it. The transformation of India's fitness landscape is clearly about much more than just exercise.
Indeed, it is. And as we wrap up today's discussion, let's remember that this isn't just about creating a fitter India. It's about preventing disease, protecting families from financial hardship, and ultimately building a healthier society. The stakes are incredibly high, but so is the potential for positive change. This is where Solo by Moon Product steps in. As we continue to explore and innovate in the fitness space, Solo by Moon Product is committed to supporting this transformative journey. Whether it's through technology, community engagement, or data-driven insights, we are here to bridge the gap and shape the future of a fitter India. We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Join us in this movement, and together, let's redefine fitness for a healthier, stronger India. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll catch you next time.